Hi everyone, I am Rashid. Today my topic is past continuous tense. The past continuous tense is important because it helps us to describe ongoing action in the past. It is used to talk about something that was happening at a specific time in the past or to describe two actions that were happening at the same time. This tense allows us to provide more details about the past events and make our stories or description more interesting and clear. But before going forward in a past continuous tense, we also need to know some differences between the past simple tense and past continuous tense. The past simple tense is used to talk about actions that happened and were completed in the past. For example, I played basketball yesterday. The past continuous tense is used to talk about actions that were happening in the past or some time. For example, I was playing basketball when it started raining. In simple words, the past simple tense talks about something that happened and finished in the past, while the past continuous tense talks about something that was happening for some time in the past. Now we're going to learn when to use past continuous tense. Number one, describing a background action. The past continuous tense can be used to describe an ongoing action that was happening when another action occurred. For example, I was studying when my friend called. Number two, talking about interrupted action. This tense can be used to describe an action that was in progress when another action interrupted it. For example, I was baking a cake when the power went out. Number third, expressing a temporary situation. The past continuous tense can be used to describe a temporary situation that was happening in the past. For example, she was living in Paris for 2 years. Number four, setting the scene or describing the atmosphere. The past continuous tense can be used to set the scene or describe the atmosphere of past events. For example, it was raining heavily and people were rushing to find shelter. Overall, the past continuous tense is used when you want to emphasize the ongoing nature of an action that happened in the past. So now we are going to learn when not to use past continuous tense. Here are several situations where it is not appropriate to use the past continuous tense. Number one, for completed action. The past continuous tense is used to describe ongoing action in the past, so it is not suitable for action that have already been completed. In such cases, the past simple tense is more appropriate. For example, he was cooking dinner when I arrived. This sentence is incorrect, so the correct sentence will be he cooked dinner when I arrived, because the action of cooking dinner is already completed. Number two, for routine action. The past continuous tense is used to describe action that were in progress at a specific point in the past, so it is not suitable for action that were a regular or habitual occurrence. In such cases, the past simple tense is more suitable for example, every Saturday they were playing tennis. This sentence is incorrect. The correct sentence will be every Saturday they played tennis. Number three, for short or sudden action. the past continuous tense is used for action that were ongoing or in progress for a significant period of time. So it is not suitable for short or sudden action. In such cases, the past simple tense or another appropriate tenses should be used. For example, she was falling asleep during the movie. This is incorrect. The correct sentence will be she fell asleep during the movie. Number 4, for future actions, the past continuous tense is used to describe actions that were occurring in the past, so it is not suitable for expressing the future actions in the past continuous tense. For example, he was leaving for Paris tomorrow. This is incorrect. The correct sentence will be he is leaving for Paris tomorrow. Overall, it is important to consider the specific context and intended meaning when deciding whether to use the past continuous tense. So now we are going to learn the past continuous tense structure. The positive structure is subject plus was, were plus verb followed by ing. Remember, with subject I, he, she, it, and also with the singular noun, we use was. With subject they, we, you, and plural nouns, then we use were. For example, I was watching. In this example, I is subject, was is helping verb, watch is base form of the verb followed by ing. In a negative structure, we use subject plus was were plus not plus verb followed by ing. For example, they were not watching. They is subject, were is a helping verb, not, and then watch base form and ing. You can also say that they weren't watching. If you convert this were not in a contraction or shortened form, you can use weren't. In a question sentences, we bring was word to the beginning of sentence, then we add subject, verb, followed by ing, at the end, question mark. For example, was he watching? You see, we brought was to the beginning of sentence, and after was we add subject and then ing with a base form. So the answer will be yes, he was, or no, he wasn't. You can say wasn't or was not. Wasn't is the contraction or shortened form, and usually people use in a speaking. So we use was in a answer if the question is in was, but we use were if the question in a were. For example, instead of he, you can use she. Was she watching? Was it watching? Was any singular noun? Was Mike watching? The answer is yes, he was, or no, he wasn't. Now we're going to learn the past continuous spelling. There is no specific spelling rule or guide for using the past continuous tense in English. However, there are a few guidelines to follow. Number 1, adding ing to the base form of the verb. In the past continuous tense, the verb is conjugated by adding ing to the base form of the verb. For example, work becomes working. Sleep becomes sleeping. Number 2, doubling the final consonant if the word ends with a single consonant letter preceded by a single vowel and the stress is on the final syllable. You need to double the final consonant before adding ing. For example, prefer becomes preferring, plan becomes planning. Number 3, removing the final e. If the word ends with a silent e, you need to remove the final e before adding ing. For example, taste becomes tasting, bake becomes baking. Number 4, irregular verbs. There are some irregular verbs that follow the typical rules of adding ing. For example, be becomes was being or were being. Have becomes had been. Remember, grammar rules can be exceptions, so it's always a good idea to consult a dictionary or grammar guide for specific verbs forms in the past continuous tense. Now we're going to learn the short answer in a past continuous tense. When using the past continuous tense, short answer can be given in two different ways, depending on the question structure. Number 1, if the question is a yes-no question, the short answer can be formed by using the affirmative or negative form of the auxiliary verb, was or verb, plus not in contracted form. For example, were you studying yesterday? The positive structure answer will be yes, I was. And the negative structure will be short answer no, I wasn't. Number 2, if the question is formed with question words such as what, where, when, why, how, etc., the short answer can be given by repeating the question word and adding was or verb followed by noun, pronoun, or verb with ing form. For example, what were you doing yesterday? The answer, I was reading a book. Another example with where was she going? She was going to the market. So now we are going to learn some common mistake in a past continuous tense. I was going shopping when I see my friend. As I said, when we're using the past continuous tense, it followed by the past simple tense, not by the present simple tense. Here, they are using the simple present simple tense verb. Instead of this, we'll say, I was going shopping when I saw my friend. So we have to use the past simple tense after the past continuous tense. When another example, he was studying and then he falling asleep. So falling asleep, this is a continuous tense. We cannot use continuous tense after the past continuous. We will use the past simple tense. For example, he was studying and then he fell asleep. Some more example. For example, I waiting for him almost 2 hours. This sentence is wrong because it missing the auxiliary verb was. I can say I was waiting for him almost 2 hours. This will be correct sentence. When another example, what did he doing when you saw him. So in this sentence, we are using the simple past simple tense, but instead of that, we will say, what was he doing when you saw him? This will be correct sentence. Now we're going to do some practice in a past continuous tense. Positive structure. He was studying when I arrived at his house. He was studying. This is past continuous tense. I arrived. This is past simple tense. So we follow the past continuous tense by past simple tense. We were walking in the park when we saw a shooting star. We were walking in the park. So this is past continuous tense. We saw a shooting star followed by past simple tense. In a negative structure, she was not cooking when the power outage occurred. So she was not cooking. This is past continuous tense. The power outage occurred followed by past simple tense. In a question structure, was he sleeping when you called him? The answer is no, he was not, or yes, he was, depending on the situation. We're done for today. See you in the next video. Please subscribe my channel for more video. You all have a good time.